Nice girls get nothing. Have you ever noticed that? I'll tell you why. Because when you're too nice to people, they see you as someone that they can take advantage of. So then you become easy prey in the eyes of a predator. And chances are, if you are a nice girl, you either have been or are being taken advantage of, and you're probably tired of that. So the first step is to stop being nice to everyone. I know it can feel like you're being rude at first when you drop the niceties, but you're not. You really do not need to overcompensate, oversell yourself, overexplain yourself, and try to win everyone over. It's exhausting, and frankly, it's just never going to happen. The bottom line is some people will never like you, and that's okay. You just have to come to terms with that. It's a part of life. But if you are currently not meeting your own needs, then you need to quit being nice to everyone. Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back for another video. I'm Jaden if you're new here, and if not, hey girl, it's good to see you again. On this channel, we talk about self-development, mindset, and how to become our best selves from the inside out. So subscribe if you vibe, hit the like button, and the notification bell so that you don't miss anything from me. Okay, my mom has this super sweet, warm, kind, generous energy, and it is so beautiful, and I am so blessed and grateful that I got to experience her love growing up. But eventually, I developed some of her nice girl habits. While this isn't evidently a bad thing, sometimes it was to my detriment. The older I got, the more social conditioning seeped into my subconscious, and I was programmed with these nice girl habits that women are supposed to have. We're supposed to be quiet. We're supposed to not be very opinionated, or at least keep them to ourselves. We're supposed to be agreeable and smile all the time. And while I could be those things, it wasn't always authentic to who I am. And I don't think that anyone should ever have to water themselves down so that other people feel comfortable. I just don't subscribe to that. So in my early adulthood, I started to recognize some of the ways that both she and I had been and were being taken advantage of. There were times that I would smile and nervously laugh whenever someone gave me a backhanded compliment. There were times that I let insults and passive-aggressive behavior slide and not talk to the person about it. And I would also try to make myself smaller and more digestible for those around me because I was told pretty often growing up that I'm too much. I was too loud, too opinionated, too talkative, too confident, etc. And if you've gone through this, you know what that feels like. You're just a kid. You're just being yourself. And then all of a sudden, either a peer or an adult tells you that you need to tone it down. What do you mean? I don't understand. I'm just being myself. Yeah, it can be a confusing time as a kid when you're told that the person you are needs to be tamed. It's a total matter of opinion. It's so subjective, and it doesn't matter. The right people will like you as you are. Because what I didn't know when I was younger is that others calling me too much was not a me problem. It was a them problem. My intelligence, talent, confidence, beauty, and ability to express my own opinions triggered a lot of people, not just people my age. So they would try to gaslight me and make me believe their narrative so that every time we were in a room together, they wouldn't feel uncomfortable. Once I got older, removed myself from toxic environments and relationships, and did some inner work, I realized that I was imperfectly perfect and that I wouldn't want to be any other way and I wouldn't want to be anyone else. And when I reflected and realized that my intention was never to make anyone feel uncomfortable or inferior, that I always had pure intentions and gave people the benefit of the doubt, even when they didn't deserve it, it confirmed that my energy was never in the wrong. It just didn't sit right with them. And it never will with a person who is unhealed and gets triggered at the drop of a dime. And that's okay. I'm not for everyone. I don't like everyone. So why would I think that everyone's going to like me? They won't. It is what it is. I've come to terms with the fact that I have been a mirror my entire life, reflecting back to people the parts of themselves that they wish that they could love and share with the world as freely as I do. I love my shadow. She is a part of me. And I'm no longer downsizing myself and staying humble so that people think I'm not a threat. Because the way I look at it is, if my energy, if my presence is threatening to you, you need to feel that shit, ask yourself why, and then move along. Because remember this, it doesn't matter how nice and neutral you are. It doesn't matter how small you shrink yourself. If they can't handle the watered down, dimmed version of you, then no wonder they can't handle you when you're shining your brightest. It's a them problem, not a you problem. So please do not allow the projected insecurities of other people to stick you in a box that's too small for your spirit. Because if they do put you in that box, it may work for a little while, but eventually it's going to become suffocating. You're going to feel like there is not enough room to breathe, because there's not. Because they've tried to make you smaller, less than you are. And something that's kind of sad that you have to realize is that you let them. That's part of it too. Undoing, unlearning all of that baggage that they put onto you, and realizing that you did believe it for some amount of time, long enough to allow yourself to squeeze into that little box. But now that you realize that you're too big and beautiful for such a tiny box, it's time to bust out of it. It's time to let yourself be bigger, let your dreams be bigger. Start to try and reach your fullest potential instead of stifling it. And I don't know about you, but I'm trying to live an expansive life filled with epiphanies and good energy. So I don't have time to be an NPC in someone else's game, because I'm too busy being the main character of my own movie. And you should be too. And if people are used to seeing you as the nice girl, it's going to shock and dismay them when you start to stand up for yourself, when you start standing on business, when you start cutting people off. But that's okay. Shock them all. And if you have been the nice girl your whole life or for a while now, don't beat yourself up over it, that you let yourself play small. We've all done it at some point, most of us. And now that you are aware, you have the right to change your mind. You have the right to decide, no more. I am no longer available to dim my own light, to silence my own voice, and to make myself more digestible to other people. So once you decide that you are no longer being the nice girl, anyone who doesn't honor that immediately gets removed. Bye-bye. You don't need them. If they're trying to gaslight you into lowering your standards again, into letting them back into your life, into thinking that you're not important enough, special enough to have such standards, please remove them. You don't need an anchor like that on your ankle weighing you down. People like that are a ball and chain, and you have to cut them off, let them go, let them weigh someone else down. And if you have been a nice girl your whole life, you probably have some people-pleasing tendencies. So you may have learned in childhood that your environment was less chaotic and more peaceful when you walked on eggshells, when you just agreed with those around you, when you kept your opinions to yourself, when you suppressed your true feelings. So you learned to mask when you were upset, when you were sad, when you were hurt. I want you to know that you do not have to do that any longer. And it's unhealthy if you do. So if that was your experience, then I'm sorry. But you don't have to stay that way and continue to be that girl or continue to be someone's doormat. You can decide that you no longer accept that, and people can fall in line or fall out of your life. And you can keep the lessons that you learned, but leave the rest. Because the truth is, those tendencies that you now see as a hindrance did serve you at one time. We can thank them for that and let them go. If you've been waiting to give yourself permission or waiting to see a sign, let this be it. So start putting your peace first. Start to create a new you with new coping mechanisms. You do not have to continue to play to old patterns. Plus, we all attain certain superpowers from our childhood trauma that help us navigate life as adults. If you relate to being the nice girl, then you are probably pretty empathetic, observant, considerate, because you learned to become those things to keep yourself safe. You got good at noticing the fluctuations in someone's mood and mimicking their behavior so as to not rock the boat. Keep the peace. And that's okay. Most of us have done that at some point in our lives. I used to do that too, but you do not have to continue to do that. It is better to be single and or friendless for a temporary amount of time than it is to be in relationships where you have to be an inauthentic, diminished version of yourself. No one's ego is that important. So start taking people at face value. If their words don't match their actions, cut them off. If their facial expressions don't match their compliments, cut them off. If their behavior is untrustworthy or disrespectful, cut them off. They will probably see you as the villain for doing that, but let them. Your peace is far more important. It is not your job to make sure you're liked by everyone. It is not your job to make someone else feel more important, intelligent, or talented than they are. It is not your job to raise someone else up at the expense of lowering yourself. No, because if you're too much, they can go find less, because less is certainly out there, let me tell you. Start to leave people where they are, move on with grace, and place yourself in better environments that can hold you in your entirety. You should not have to hide all of your amazingness just to feel safe, secure, loved, accepted by the people around you. You should not. And if you do feel that way with the people that you're currently around, then that is a major indication that you need to revamp your environment and simplify your circle. So start protecting your peace and start showing up in your life with your full, vibrant, magnetizing, abundant energy. You owe it to yourself to live as your full self. So don't fragment yourself into all these small little pieces to make yourself more digestible for others. If they can't handle you, let them choke. It's better to be authentic and weed out the ones who aren't really for you than to be someone else other than who you truly are and become exhausted from keeping up the facade. That's how you wake up one day unhappy with your life, wondering why you don't feel fully seen and fully heard and fully loved, only to realize that it's because they love the version of you that you showed them, and that's it. If you don't show them the full, real you, then they can't love all of you. So be yourself, and the right people who resonate with that will come along. So if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much. Thank you for spending your time with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like this video, save it for later if you need to watch it again, share it with a friend who you think might need it, and stop being the nice girl. Not being the nice girl doesn't mean that you're not nice or kind or caring. It just means that you won't let people walk all over you. I love you so much. I will see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye.